Outskirts is one of the early maps in the Halo 2 campaign. The very beginning of the map contains a stronghold that is utilized in 3 different ways to create a unique and realistic viewpoint on laying siege to an area. In the beginning, the stronghold is currently being occupied. The Marines, at the height of their squad populace, begin its approach with ranged attacks, cover-based fire, and eventually begin to push through the defenses of the defending forces. This is an important moment in terms of warfare tactics because the defending forces at this time are cut off. There is no chance for reinforcements, and this plays a factor in the next section of combat. The second part is of contesting an area. The remnants of the defending forces are now fighting in closer range combat than the affronting Marines, which could be a huge disadvantage if not for the balance between very close and very far. On the rooftops of distant buildings are several snipers creating a difficult crossfire, the immediate threat versus the imminent threat. The Marines need to secure the area in order to gather a stronger foothold for fighting off the fatal snipers. When these exchanges are inevitably won by the Marines, it begins a barrage of all 3, which is the final portion. So the first part was predominantly mid-range combat. The second part was a mixture of close range and long range, but aside from the gameplay mechanics, these are all practical combat choices of a defending force. The Covenant are spread across the city, defending multiple points. If an area is being overrun, they can't immediately shift forces, so they will send a scout unit with snipers to see if they can secure or aid the area, which is exactly what Part 2 was. But now the Covenant need to act, and it's firing on all cylinders. The dropships contain deadly melee combatants with swords. Grunts, jackals, and brutes are engaging in mid-range combat, while the scattered survivors of the rooftop snipers are separating their distances and looking for advantageous shot positions. The exchange is brutal and hard fought, but inevitably won. The position is as close to lost as possible, which is exactly why the Covenant has to deploy the Hunters. Psychologically, the Covenant are breaking at this point. You don't redirect all these forces to a position unless you need it, and Master Chief takes it. This map is stellar. It excels at both practical gameplay that reintroduces the player to all the styles of combat in the game, as well as most of the enemies. While all of this is happening, it is very much grounded in the story still. This battle has to be won, by both sides. The victory results in a position that, in the end, doesn't even really need to be held at all. So many forces were lost on both sides. Maps like these utilize the story, gameplay, and environment in ways that make them master classes, and don't get the attention they deserve. Because when they excel as well as they do, and progress the game and story to such an extent, they aren't even noticed at all.